Hello and welcome to another episode of the Veterans Corner. My name's Chuck Woodin. I'll be your host, joined by my co-host, Kat Ziegwolf. Kat, welcome back.
Thank you.
It's been a while since we've been a team.
Yeah, hey, I'm whenever you need it.
You know, we always have great shows. Tonight we've got an especially great show. It's a topic we haven't had on the show in almost 300 episodes.
Yeah, not in the 2 years I've been doing it.
Yeah, so I mean, this is going to be a really great show. It's going to grab you. You'll be on the edge of your seat, and wait till you see the guest. He'll definitely have you on the edge of your seat. Been doing this for a while. Joe Sarge Kowalski. Joe, it's an absolute pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
13-year Marine Corps veteran.
Yes.
His bio, we would be here probably a while. Rods and Wheels TV show, ESPN2.
ESPN2, Rods and Wheels was in 2006, 2007. And then the second one was with the NBC Sports Network between 2011 and 2013. It started out as the Ultimate Fishing Experience, and it was changed to the American Hero Experience.
Biker Report on WCCC.
31 years, still going strong.
A lot of our viewers probably heard you.
Hey, looking for a place to ride to? Yeah, that's me.
Member of the Connecticut Bass Federation Nation, made the state team in 2005 and 2011. Mm-hmm. Holds a marketing degree at Quinnipiac University, certified PhD Harley-Davidson Tech, and that's just what I found. I'm sure the list goes on. Like I said, it's an absolute honor to have you here, Joe.
They forgot to put in there a masterpiece of chaos and charm.
That's at the end, I think. I think I
Okay.
saved that for the end. The best was for last. You know, how we like to start the show, especially when we have veterans on the show. We like to ask them, a little bit about your military history. Real brief. What branch, what years you served?
I was in the Marines from 1980 to 1993, both active duty and in the reserves. Started out in the reserves, went active duty, then went back to the reserves for the last couple of years.
Yeah. Well, on behalf of our viewers, us here at the Veterans Corps, we want to thank you for your service.
You're worth it.
Yeah. With that being said, this is one of those topics, the shows that we could probably at least have a 3-part series, but we're going to try to squeeze it all into one. Kat, you want to?
Yeah, so tell us the name of to this organization. I know you got 12 you're affiliated with, but the one you're here for tonight, tell us a little bit about it. What's the mission statement, and where are you trying to go with that?
Well, what it is, Kat, it's called the Major Stephen Roy Andrews Fishing Outreach Program. It was named after my best friend in the whole world. Steve was a highly decorated B-52 pilot for Desert Storm.
Oh, cool.
Unfortunately, in 2000, he passed away from a heart attack. And after that, I got back into fishing very heavy. Got a boat through Ranger, got hooked up with the Connecticut Bass Nation, started fishing. And I had severe issues from my own service. And one day, my counselor looks at me and says, "What are you doing?" I says, "What do you mean, what am I doing?" "I don't know, I'm fishing a lot." He looked at me and said, "You need to do more of that." I'm like, "Okay, right." So I wound up going to the lake that following Saturday, looking around, peaceful, calm. The guy is right. And then a light bulb came on. I said, if this helps me, I wonder if it could help my fellow veterans.
Sure.
So I started doing a lot of research, checking things out. And around here in Connecticut, there's a lot of great programs for vets. There's a lot of saltwater guys that take them out in charter boats and everything. And that's nothing wrong. It's all great. But I looked at it going, okay, that's great. But at the end of the day, what do you have?
Yeah.
You have a great memory. Nothing wrong with that. Good. But what about next week, next month, next year? So I came up with the harebrained idea of, if I could get these guys some tackle, a rod, a reel, take them on the water for a day, like a one-on-one fishing lesson with me for the day, teach them how to use all this
Teach
stuff.
them in to fish.
And at the end of the day, they get to keep the rod, the reel, and all the tackle.
That's excellent.
And now they have knowledge, they have the equipment, they can give themselves therapy anytime they need to.
Yeah.
Find a farm pond, stream, whatever. Yeah. So that's how it all got started. And 384 vets later,
wow,
I'm still going.
Nice. And there are a lot of good lakes around here that they get stocked all the time. So.
And some of the greatest little places you can fish are farm ponds.
Yeah.
You know,
sure.
Any farm pond, little stream, little river,
quiet,
anywhere.
Peaceful.
It works. It kind of takes all that stuff that we all went through, puts it on the back burner for a little while.
You know, you mentioned that. We took a ride up in the northwest corner this past weekend, and it was one of those trips where you took every single side road and tried to get lost.
Yeah.
And we saw a lot of those ponds.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, on the farms and all that. Peaceful.
There's some big fish in those farm ponds.
Yeah. As one of the vets that benefited from one of the fishing programs several years ago, is going outside on a beautiful day. You get uneasy, but if you're doing something, then you're doing something, and you can put all your focus into that, and then it's not about you anymore. It's about the fish.
Exactly.
It's about the day, and you end up enjoying it and the camaraderie, of course. So how many go in a group when you have those?
It's one-on-one.
Oh, wow.
So I'll take, a lot of times I've taken like uncle and a nephew, or white husband and wife, or vet and his son, or vet and his daughter.
Nice.
You know, those kind of things. So I
Make
can take two, but usually it's a one-on-one situation.
Nice, nice.
Now, when you take them out, rowboat style? I mean, do you
No. We have a Z119 courtesy of Ranger Bass Boats and Tommy Reynolds down at Reynolds Garage in Marine. I have a gorgeous it's actually almost 20 feet, it's 19 and a half feet, Z119 Ranger Bass Boat.
Wow.
It goes kind of slow. It only does about 80.
There's at least
Against the wind.
Yeah, going against the wind, loaded up, but
That's
it
half the fun.
goes fairly good. But we have a good time on it. It's 19 and a half feet of therapy,
nice.
and it works out real well.
You know, I was talking to somebody that we actually had on the show here, Navy veteran. He went. He was a counselor. We talked about a lot of issues, and my own experiences, my own issues, and it took a year. We started talking out in the parking lot here after having him on the show, and I had mentioned the fact that I wouldn't mind going out and just sitting on the bank of the Farmington River, and he told me I wouldn't be able to do it because, and I don't know if you can answer this, but I mean, I think what he meant was you're on edge. You can't sit there by yourself and be sitting still.
Yes and no. It depends on, like, when I go fishing, if I happen to go out by myself, if a vet cancels on me or something, I'll go anyway because I'm focused.
Yeah.
I'm directly focused on the fish, and I want to catch at least 5 or 6 of them, and I want them all to be good ones. And it doesn't necessarily happen all the time. Sometimes I go out there, I don't catch a damn thing but a small perch all day.
Yeah.
But
It was
it's
relaxing.
it's the fact that there's something about being on the water that just kind of calms everything down and makes it all worthwhile.
I had a boat for 5 years down in the Sound out of Clinton, and I used to just take it out, not far, just a little ways, drop an anchor, sit on a swim platform, put my feet in the water, put some music on, or sometimes just sit there and just enjoy the feet in the water.
I just bought an inflatable raft so I can anchor and just take a nap in the water. There's just something very soothing about it. You're feeling it, you're seeing it, you're smelling it, but you don't have to do anything about it. You just be there.
Yeah.
And that's kind of hard for all of us who are used to action and consequences and all these other things. You're like, I just go sit. I don't even know what I would do with myself. So that's good to give them an opportunity to engage that nothingness and unwind a little.
It's kind of nice, but when you get to the level that I'm at right now, it's like we're going deep into enemy territory to catch the large and smallmouth bass. We're planning, we're strategizing.
It's I could just picture being out there.
I don't know. I think the
Yeah.
biggest hazard you mentioned so far is taking a husband and wife out there together. God bless you.
No, I've taken a couple of couples out, and we've had a ball.
Oh, good.
We've
Good.
had a ball. Caught a bunch of fish. The thing I like to do is on the way out to wherever we're going, because I'll travel all over the state. That's the thing about, the truck pulls the boat and it goes from Lake Candlewood out in Danbury all the way across the state out to Lake Amos or Amos Reservoir out by the casinos and anywhere in between to take these guys out fishing, depending on where they're at and where they live. I'll go get them, I'll pick them up, or I'll meet them somewhere
Nice.
and take them out.
The thing about Connecticut is that you've got such a choice of, I mean, there's so many.
Yeah.
There's so many, from the small ponds to a little bit larger, lakes or larger ponds. Candlewood obviously is the biggest.
Yeah.
Pokey-Paw, Bantam. I mean, there's a lot of places. I mean, and then you get the rivers.
You've got the Connecticut River, you've got the Housatonic River. The Connecticut River depends on what time of year you want to fish it.
Yeah.
Early spring, no, it's
Too
way
dangerous.
It's too high, and there's too many what we call dinosaurs floating down the river.
Yeah.
And
That's
not a
probably
good
one of the
idea.
worst times to be in a river.
Yeah.
Those things are floating about 2 feet below the surface, and you can't see them.
Was it down limbs and things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
I've already lost
Trees.
2 lower ends. Thank you. No. So
You can't see them.
No.
Being down in the Sound, many a times in Clinton, you can see actual trees going by out by 6 Mile Reef,
Yikes.
and those are all coming down the river.
Yeah, better let it all sort itself out and then you go
Right.
out there.
We pretty much went over how you got involved with the program,
yeah.
and how the program has helped you. You want to elaborate some more on how it's helped you?
One of the best things for me is when I take a vet out fishing, especially one that's never really fished before, and you get him on the water and he hooks into that first 3-pound smallmouth. And I've had it several times where, Joe, I'm stuck. And all of a sudden the line starts going that way. I said, you ain't stuck, reel it in. And it turns out to be a 2.5, 3-pound smallmouth. And they're like, and the look on their face is famous last words, priceless.
Like a kid in Christmas.
Oh yeah. And
Do they usually keep it or do they?
no, we throw
they
everything
them all
back.
Oh, that's
but
good.
the one I remember the most, a number of years ago, I had the honor of taking out Mike Malari. Mike Malari is the young man you see on those commercials on national television, that the 24-hour medications for blind people. He got a Bronze Star over in, I think it was Afghanistan, from he was blinded, and he was reloading ammo while his buddies were fighting off. Anyway, Mike is the national spokesperson for this particular medication or whatever, and he was on TV for years. He's blind. So he came up to the Fidelco Guide Dog Society, and Heidi Voigt called me and said, Sarge, can we take Mike out? I said, sure. He's blind. I said, so what?
Yep.
My boat can accommodate. I don't care if you're in a wheelchair, if you're missing limbs, whatever, blind.
great.
I can take you out. Put Mike in the back seat. We pull up on a spot. I said, all right, Mike, here's your 12. Here's your 6. Here's your 3. Here's your 9. You cast where I tell you. Okay. He casts out 2 o'clock. Sarge, I'm stuck. You ain't stuck. Real 2.5-pound smallmouth.
Nice.
He was ecstatic.
Yes. Yeah. Connecting with the world.
Yeah, it's stories like that, and
Well,
I've
and I wasn't
remember 'em.
familiar with handicap accessible boats because that's one of the things is usually it's a little seat about the size of a dinner plate and on a
No,
stick. And,
Yeah, I've got a
I
full
can't
size
hit that
seat
on,
in the
on
back.
land, never mind if the whole thing's rocking and rolling.
I have a full size seat that I can set up in the back. If they're in a wheelchair and they can't get out of their wheelchair, I can wheel the wheelchair right onto the
Sweet.
boat, and I have a buddy of mine gave me a couple of adapters that I can actually bolt the wheelchair right to the back of the boat.
Nice.
So that works.
Oh, that's excellent. That's to be inclusive is
Yeah, I'm
that's a
trying
big
to
chunk of our experience.
accommodate as many people as I can, and I've taken out like I said, over 380 something vets,
Nice.
and it's one of the most rewarding things I've done ever since I got my full disability.
Nice.
And I wasn't going to sit on my butt.
No.
I was,
No.
I was going to do something to
Most
help.
of us get antsy if we sit around anyway, even if
Yeah.
we have the option. So. Now, do you have a favorite spot? Where do you normally fish?
Couple of them. Candlewood Lake, of course.
Where's that?
That's out in Danbury. The people out,
As far as you can go without going to New York. Yeah.
the people at the Danbury town park or park and rec department, they gave me a lifetime pass to use
Nice.
for the
Excellent.
lake, their boat ramp there, because it's one of the only boat ramps right now that's handicapped accessible that I can get to on the
Oh,
lake.
okay. Right.
So it works real well, and I thank them very much.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, that Candlewood it covers what, five towns?
5,500 square acres.
Yeah.
Covers Danbury, New Fairfield, Brookfield, Sherman, New Milford, New Fairfield. I think that's it.
Yeah.
You have to add Gardner Lake out in Salem because I'll
Gardner
jump on
Lake.
that.
Gardner Lake is another one I've gone to a number of times. If I get guys that call me from that area, Norwich, I'll use Gardner, Amos, Moodus Reservoir is
Yeah,
another one.
That's a nice one. Yeah.
I get to all of those spots, and
Now,
it works.
Who qualifies for the program? What do you usually take out?
They're all veterans, and as long as they are a veteran through the VA system, that usually works, because that's where I put up all my flyers. I have several flyers that I put up in Newington and West Haven. And then I also contact the vet centers throughout the state and let them know. And I'll send a flyer out to them, say, hey, if you get any veterans that are interested in fishing. And I have a couple other sources I know that are genuine.
Now, do they have to be part of the VA, or can it just have a DD-214?
As long as they got a DD-214, it shows that they served in the military, I'll take them.
Nice. Now, do you have any real breakthrough stories you care to share with the audience?
Breakthrough stories, yeah. There's one young man, and I met Mike Kelsey back in, it was around 2011. It was where we were doing a second TV show. We were down at Quantico doing some filming, and I met Mike, and this young man was blown up twice in Iraq, and he was ready to call it a day. And I got him hooked on fishing. He'd fished before, but I got him hooked on it. And we became friends, we became brothers, and the next thing you know, my late wife had basically adopted Mike as her fourth son. And he's been a dear friend ever since. He lives in Virginia with his new wife and his two new kids. He's got two boys. And he is going to be taking over this program when the good Lord decides that it's my time to go upstairs. So Mike is all set to do that. In the meantime, he's been taking vets out on his own. So I don't know, he's sort of like a franchise that I give him some equipment and whatnot to get him started, and away we go. So I'm hoping this program will continue in Steve's name after I pass away, and the two of us can finally get together and go fishing again while we're up in heaven, and we can look down and say, yeah, there's Mike running the program. See, did good. Beautiful.
Keeping an eye on it.
Keeping an eye on things.
Every year, I think I told you this on the phone, every year I get my fishing license. Every year.
Yeah.
And how often have you gone fishing?
Let's just say it's been a pretty good donation to the state of Connecticut. Every year I say I'm going to go. And actually, I was just saying it a couple weeks ago. I think it might have been after we talked. And it's still a donation. I just don't get out there.
Now, do you need a fishing license for catch
No.
and release?
Well, here's the thing. With me, you do not need a fishing license.
Ah,
If you're a veteran, if you want to come fishing out with me, you don't have to worry about a fishing license. A number of years ago, myself and another organization called Take a Vet Fishing, which is out of West Haven, we got together with the state legislature and said, hey, listen, there's got to be something you can do for us where we can get some kind of a license other than a captain's license,
Sure.
$1,500.
Or a charter license. Which
Charter, is there something that we can do? And they said, yeah. So we came up with this thing called a group fishing license.
Okay.
And now I think it's $125 a year it cost me.
Oh.
And that covers any veteran that comes out on my boat. So
Nice.
that they're all set. So I appreciate the state legislature for putting that one
Nice.
through.
Hey, sometimes the paperwork works for you.
Yeah.
And speaking of funding and the costs and things, how do you do your fundraising? Who are your big contributors you could mention?
Well, it kind of, first off, I want to thank all my sponsors. You see on my jersey here. Luz, Strike King, Gamma Line, Plano have been with me since day one. Gary Yamamoto Custom Baits. Luz Rods and Reels, Water Gremlin, Spro. Sid gives me hooks and baits. Gets It Baits is another one. Jewel Baits is another one. Navionics. Wiley X has been a sponsor with me from day one.
Do you have private contributors or people
Yeah.
who've been through probably give back?
I have several. UBI has been with me for the last number of years. They contribute every year.
Nice.
So I can put, with money, so I can put gas in the truck and the boat. They both have 38-gallon gas tanks.
Nice.
Wow.
That
You
stings.
can do the math when you
Yeah.
pull up the, people look at me like, I'm going to be here for a while,
Ching.
and the boat runs on high test.
No, yeah. Oh gosh.
That
yeah.
was one of the reasons why I got rid of mine after 5 years. Mine was 65.
Oh gee.
Tommy Reynolds down at Reynolds Garage and Marine, I can't say enough good about him. And Sylvia Morris and Jimmy Morris and a whole crew from the Connecticut Bass Nation. Al Geit, they've all helped me out.
And do you have a website where if people want to
Yes.
support you, that they can go look?
The website is www.fishingoutreachprogram.com.
Nice. And are you on Facebook as well?
Facebook as well. There's links.
And what is that named on Facebook?
It's the Major Stephen Roy Andrews Fishing Outreach Program.
Okay. That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
But like you said, if it's on the website, they can go
Yeah,
find it.
it's right at the top of the website when you go on it.
Oh, good. Good.
Phone
So
numbers, you got your
My
email
phone number,
address.
my email, all of that's right there.
No, these shows go so fast, Joe. But we're down to a couple minutes. Any events come up? 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay.
Just got the 2-minute warning.
We do 2 events every year in cooperation with the Connecticut Bass Nation and Gaylord Hospital. And that they are veterans fishing tournaments. We do one in May. We just had one on May 7th. Our next one will be in September. I believe it's September 17th up at Lake Congamon, which is up on the Massachusetts-Connecticut border.
Up by Southwick.
Yeah, right. And if you want to fish, all you have to do is call Gaylord Hospital Sports Association, put your name in, we'll get you set up.
nice.
That's I tell you, there's I've got about 15 questions I want to ask, but unfortunately we got like a minute left.
Have to have another show.
Well, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. We're in the spring rotation right now. Summer, if we're going to do the summer rotation, definitely want to have you back.
Appreciate it, thank you.
You know, we touched on how somebody can get in touch with you. I'm sure we're going to have that flashing on the screen. The email address. Can I get in touch with the email address?
Yeah, you can get a hold of my email. It's usmctinker@aol.com.
Cell phone, probably. I mean, that's probably enough just to get a hold of you on your email address.
They can get a hold of they can give me a call, I don't mind.
860-966-6778.
Correct.
So, with that being said, I tell you, I knew this was going to be a great show. We just started talking about, some of the questions. They just led to other
all there.
topics. Like I said, this topic, this show, could have been at least a two series.
Well, and I want to thank you that my experience has been vets helping vets is the best help.
Exactly.
They have all these programs and stuff run by civilians, and it's nice, but they really don't know what they're dealing with.
Famous last words. If I had to explain it, you'd never
You never
understand
understand.
it.
Yeah.
Well, all right. With that being said, I'm getting a wrap-up sign, so we gotta call it. Joe, it was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much,
It was
my
a
honor.
pleasure talking to you. I'm glad we got a chance to meet. I'm glad you were here.
Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
service.
Hopefully this
Thank
will
you.
not be their last time here. Kat, thank you. And thank you to the viewers. Thank you for watching. Till the next time on the Veterans Corner. Good night.
The water's warm at Jaws Pond, and we're stocked full of treasures. Big or small, we buy it all. We buy and sell fast rides, power tools, vintage guitars, and so much more. Walk the plank in style with our fine jewelry, diamonds, and watches. Plus, we have a huge selection of the latest video games, including the new PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. Jaws Pond, conveniently located on Meriden Waterbury Turnpike in Southington and West Main Street in New Britain.